Back at it once again with a weekly update on the Union Pacific Railroad Evanston subdivision in HO Scale. My name is Daryl Cruz. I'm the owner as well as the builder of this layout over the last 3 years with another weekly update, episode 31, I believe, of 2024. This week, we'll be sharing work that I did around the I-84 Overpass. This is going to be a pretty cool addition. This is the interstate that goes right along the Evanston sub through Echo Canyon as well as the Weber River Canyon. So I definitely wanted to put the interstate as part of the layout, and then also wanted to make sure it was part of the Devil Slide area, which we have both of that right here. Make sure you subscribe and like this video. But this is where things kind of happen. Got a train coming here, but I put a 1x3 all along the underside on both sides of the tracks, and then put a pretty good size piece of styrene to be the ledge that the I-beams will rest on. Probably shouldn't be working on this while the train is going by, but as you can see, I have the ledge on both sides. So 1x3s on both sides of the track underneath the masonite or the hardboard roadway. And I had to do some additional cutting. Didn't really cut it that smoothly when I used the jigsaw saw on there. Here's the other side of it. So things that kind of was trying to think about how this is all going to work and how all the landforms are going to fit around the abutments and under the I-84 highway. So I have this big piece of styrene. I think it's 0.25 times 0.5 or maybe even 0.75. That's the main ledge, so it's positioned just right to hold the I-beam as well as being right underneath. Sorry for the shaky camera here. I'm trying to do two things at once, but you kind of get an idea how that's going to all fit in there. Then underneath it, I put some more styrene, and the reason why I put that there was not for looks, but just to make sure that the abutments that I put in there would fit flush with the concrete abutment that holds the beam. So those won't be seen, but I basically wanted to put it out a little bit so that it would fit in there flush and there wouldn't be any overhang of the main abutment, and then I guess you'd call it the apron. I'm not sure. I just made that up. I don't know if that's what they call it or not. But anyway, then I cut the styrene out. This actually took 3 pieces of styrene. And this is like this pretty thick styrene. I think it's 0.8. I should have looked at all this, exactly what the size of it was. Now you can see that you can't, once you get that first I-beam in there, you won't be able to see any of the other ones. So I'm only putting 4 I-beams on, 2 on each side. Now this side here, I was trying to see if I had it in the right position. So I kind of took a piece of styrene that was cut to the right size, and when I compare it, it was not the same distance from the track. It was a little bit further away from the track than the one on the other side. So I don't know if you can tell, but I basically moved it out now. So I unscrewed the 1x3 on this side and just pushed it over a little bit, and now it was more even. Now it was, like I said, I'm only using 4 I-beams, 2 on each side. In between, I think I'm going to put a piece of 3/8 inch plywood under the hardboard, because I'm just afraid that that's going to warp at some point in time. Here's the piece that I'm putting on this other side. Basically did a lot of splicing together of these. Here's the back side. Just use scraps. I bought 4 pieces of this thick styrene and kind of scrounged around to make sure it fit. Now you won't be able to see this side of it very much. And if you look at the prototype aprons, they are not poured in these big, huge pieces. So once I get this all painted and filled in and everything, I'm going to use a pin to draw in the separations of each piece of concrete on the aprons and then also on the vertical abutments. Now you notice I also put an abutment here to the right of the main abutments. So I'm trying to, again, I was looking at all this, trying to figure out, okay, how would this landforms all fit in here? And so I tried to put different aprons and abutments and so forth. I know that they cannot have land that's sloped to a certain grade, so it has to be. So by putting this in here, I was figuring, okay, I don't want the landform to slope too much, because I know there's a limit to how much it can slope before you have erosion having it fall down and having all kinds of problems for not only the railroad but also the interstate. So I thought if I drew that in there, it would kind of reduce the slope a little bit. And then the same thing on this side, trying to figure out this is going to need to come from that point there up to where the plastic hits the fascia. Again, trying to keep it at a slope that was gentle enough to stay in place as long as there's some grass or something along there that's holding the soil together. All right, once I got all the plastic in for all the aprons and abutments and everything, then I went in again with the cardboard webbing. Kind of see how I attach the cardboard to fit with the lines that I had drawn in. All along here on both sides. So it is a pretty gentle slope. I think that's, I don't know what the actual incline you can have for ground, but I think that looks comparable to what you see on around highways. Here I'm trying to do this with one hand again. There's going to be probably 3 or 4 of these overpass, or excuse me, these support beams. Those are made by Rick's products, and they're actually not modern ones. I did cut it so that the lower concrete is not as big as it normally is. I don't know anybody that makes the modern ones. The modern ones, the main difference that I can see is that the posts are wider. And I was a little concerned if I actually put in, I could scratch something, but if I put in wider posts, it would be too close to the tracks. So I decided to just stick with the Rick's Products ones. And as I said, it's going to be probably 3 or 4 of them all along there. So again, here you can see how the cardboard all fit in there. I put some more pieces of plastic in there for the concrete abutments, and you can kind of see how it fits. Then, of course, I put in the paper, standard procedure that I've been doing all throughout the whole layout. Webbing first, then the rosin paper, and then the plaster goes on top of that. I've been using this one roll of rosin paper I bought for $14. That's fit. I still got plenty left. I'm certain it's going to be enough for the whole layout. Don't have that much more to do. Here's how it looks on the other side. It looks kind of bubbly on this side, but once I put the plaster on it, it'll lay flat. Still be some undulations that would be natural looking. Here you can see this side. This side probably won't be viewed that much unless I stick my camera over there. Here you can kind of see how it all kind of fits in with the Taggart tunnels and the bridges over the Weber River. I had one roll of plaster cloth. Thought it might be enough because there's really not that much square area to cover, but it fell just a little bit short. I have a little bit there on the end to do there that I didn't get covered. Again, this is going to be Interstate 84, and then it's going to be Devil's Slide out there in the back. That's going to be an interesting thing to put together. Now, you notice how I put these jersey barriers. These are by Walthers. I'm actually going to be using these Bricks Products concrete barriers. This is often used by interstates and so forth when they have overpasses like this. So I'm going to, those are about 50 scale feet long, so it's about 6 or 7 inches. So only take about 3 of those to go across, and it's more solid. The jersey barriers I'm going to put down the middle or use them at different places. Again, there'll be some over on this side as well as the I-beams and so on. Here you can see where I again ran out of plaster. So back in the deep darkness there where Devil's Slide is going to be, I'm going to use some creative engineering there. I'm going to actually build it outside of the layout and then place it in there from on top, from above. We'll see how that works out. But this is how it looks. Newman pole is still in the way, but actually matches the plaster pretty good right now. So this is how things look as of today. In the coming week, of course, I'm going to do the rest of the plaster and then get the plaster painted and some ground foam and vegetation put on. And then we'll probably start working on the Devil's Slide area. Oh, I take back. I probably will start working on painting the roadbed for the interstate and then Devil's Slide. So still got a good couple, 2-3 weeks yet before I get this whole area done. Here we see some trains coming through. Definitely looks a lot different than when it was just the track and roadbed and bench work. I think this is going to be looking pretty good. Now before I paint the plaster and so on, I'll be painting the track first. And then once I get the track painted, then I'll tape the track off and then I'll spray paint the concrete abutments. And then once I get that done, then I'll paint the plaster and put in the ground foam. Get the rest of the I-beams in place and the support post in. And then I'm going to be painting the interstate roadbed and putting in lines. Man, that's going to be an interesting task with this curve. But I have an idea on how to do it. We'll see how that works. Probably going to put a mirror in there. It's got the interstate just goes into the wall right there, but I'm going to put a mirror in there. It's going to look pretty cool. I got that all figured out. So it'll look like the interstate is going to go into the wall. Here we're coming from the other way. Been looking for vehicles to put on here. There's not very many modern vehicles. The ones that you can find are usually European, which is okay because there's a lot of European cars on the highway. But so the cars that I found are like Mercedes, different classes, and Audis, and not very many American. There's the Atlas Bronco, which is fairly new. It's in the 90s, but it still looks decent on a modern layout. And then Atlas also makes pickup trucks too. But I did order some vehicles to put on the highway. So we'll get those on hopefully next week as well. This actually looks pretty good from this side too. But again, you won't, this is hanging the camera over the layout. When you're standing at the layout, it's hard to see this back end at all. It's amazing how much has changed here in the last couple of weeks, probably a couple of months. I think I probably spent about 7-8 weeks on this so far, from where the mountains start in the backdrop, the transition from Morgan, which is down in the corner, to Taggart. So from the halfway point over the Weber River here and on through the Devil's Slide area. It's probably been 7-8 weeks that I've been working on this, and I think I have 2 or 3 more to go. I have my next operating session the first weekend in September. Take that back, the second weekend in September, Labor Day weekend. I think I'm going to have it, and hope to have the whole area done by then. We'll see. This is the Taggart Mountain auto rack train coming through. Also need to put the backdrop in there as well. I have a secret plan on how I'm going to do the backdrop there. I'll be sharing that with you here in a few weeks. Plenty of clearance for the auto racks. We'll see some double stacks go through here. They're a little bit taller, but they still clear by at least, I would say probably at least 1.5 scale feet. 1.5 to 2 scale feet. Here it goes around the corner into the Wholesome cement area. This has been a pretty involved project, this whole area here. I think the rest of the layout that I have to do, which is the Wholesome cement area and then the Echo Canyon, I think those are going to be a lot more straightforward. I don't think it's going to be as complicated as this. Although there is a bridge area by Wholesome. Those always take a little longer. Pretty cool. Here's the Wholesome cement area. This is what I have left to do. the Wholesome Cement area, and then Echo Canyon down in the distance. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Take care.